Good morning, everybody. As you know, my name is Melisande, and I'm so happy that we're actually doing a live session, the last live session for 2020, and we can say what a year. Hi, halalelo. So it's been a very tough year. So today I'm talking to one of the most talented and creative person I've ever met. Hi, Poppy. And I must say, I've always loved fashion. So when I came to a point where I met Meg, I met the owner for Melerine Rose, or I met Melerine Rose. I think for me, it's kind of dreams connecting. Does it make sense? It's sort of dreams connecting. So it's like pieces of the puzzles were coming together. And we always have these conversations about dreams. We always have conversations about where do we want to go as people? How do we want to grow? And I felt so strongly that we should talk to him today. He has an amazing energy. You reminded me it's Sunday. Yes, doll, it's Sunday. I know. I also forgot that it's actually Sunday. I mean, Saturday yesterday. But I guess it's the festive season. But I wanted to share with you something quickly before I connect Melerine Rose. I came across one of the affirmations that I was writing for myself, or maybe I was actually trying to. I was actually trying to answer a question, and the question was, what would you tell your younger self, your dreams? And one of the things is that your dreams are valid. But the affirmation around that is what struck me as I was preparing, and I came across this. It says, trust the dreams you have right now about yourself. No matter where you come from, no matter how bad the situation is, you are meant to succeed. Work on your gifts and on your talents. And I like this, no matter how bad the situation is, and no matter where you are currently, your dreams are valid. And I love the fact that I'm going to talk to this dreamer, but he's not only a dreamer, but he's also an action person, and that's what I like about him. And I love the fact that he's passionate about his dreams, about Melerine Rose. So I will try to connect him and send an invitation so we can get on with it. So this year has been kind of hectic. It's been kind of hectic, but we keep dreaming, we keep pushing, we keep wanting more, we keep building ourselves, and we keep moving. It's Sunday. I would like, and this passage, while I'm waiting for Melerine Rose, because I've sent an invite to him, I'm reminded, talking about keeping moving, about from a biblical point of view. Remember, the Israelites moved from Egypt and they needed to cross the Red Sea. And I remember the Israelites were complaining and saying, you took us out of Egypt, and now the Egyptians wants to kill us. What do we do now? We want to go back. And Moses went back to God and said, God, they're asking me this question, and I'm also asking it to you. What do I need to do? And God said one thing. There you go, Melerine Rose. And God said one thing. He said, keep moving. That's what we do. We keep moving, we keep building, we keep pushing harder for the dreams that we want to build. So, and Melerine Rose joined. So let me send the request to Melerine, aka Cajizo. It says waiting. So, and I guess that's why I also wanted to talk to the head designer. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
um, I'll be fine one day.
You'll
You
be
know,
fine
that's
one
that's
day.
one
Your
day I'll
fa-
be fine.
your favorite
Yeah,
coat.
my favorite code of all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'll be fine.
Thank you so much, Kahiso, for joining us. As you are the head designer for Melerine Rose,
Yeah,
and I was talking about dreams to everybody. That there's a passage that I came across as I think were the affirmations that I wrote a while back, and it talks
yeah,
about
yeah,
dreams. And
yeah,
you and I, most of the time when we talk about this dream. You know, you always talk about Melerine Rose and how passionate you are about it.
yeah, yeah,
And this morning is so relevant because I guess when I bumped into that passage, it kind of really reminded me of who you are.
yeah,
But over
yeah,
and above, I think maybe let me leave it up to you to
yeah,
kind of give us a good snapshot of. I know it's about Melerine Rose, ne?
yeah, yeah.
But who's the head designer? Who's the kahisto? Who are you? Because the reason why I'm saying that is because before Melerine Rose was
Yeah,
born, kahisto was
yeah,
born. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's also
yeah,
getting into your passion,
yeah,
and understanding who's this magnificent creative.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
a snapshot.
Um, firstly, I want to say thank you for the introduction, and
The
you
pleasure.
know, it's a very beautiful question for you to ask me of who I am because I don't consider myself as a designer. I consider myself as a philanthropist before designer. I consider myself as a creative. I consider myself with the fall and in love and the interest of the luxury spaces. I find
Mm,
myself in a game changer. So each and everything that I do, I consider myself doing the best of it because I love looking life into no regrets, right?
yeah.
So each and every moment that I acquire with my hands, I make sure that I give my best in each and everything that I do. So Kagiso, it's a young man, very dedicated from Kleprat. He was born in Kleprat and
Yes.
raised by two parents, which is her mother. It's a street vendor, and his father is a taxi driver, right? So
Wow.
he grew up within the spirit of hard work. He grew up through the spirit of small income can really make an impact, especially when you have a vision. I come
Yeah.
from two families that have a vision, like my parents have a vision. I'm driven by the vision that they have, right? So along
Yeah.
those words, it also become one of my abilities. It becomes one of my gifts and my talent that I have. So
Yeah.
along the way during my high school, I transformed myself from becoming Kahiso and become Mac, right? So right now, the person that you're speaking with now, you're speaking with Mac. Mac, it came this way. Like I was a fan of Apple during my growth, right? I
Yeah.
used to look to people like Steve Jobs, how they changed the game and everything and stuff in the digital space. So along
Sure.
the way, so I bought my parents bought me a laptop, a MacBook laptop.
Wow.
Um, After buying me that, because I didn't want to go to metric then, so I wanted to invest on the laptop because if I wanted to become an architect.
Yeah.
So there was a young girl in my school. She was an influencer though, but not that much. But I was an influencer, if I could tell. So this
Yes.
girl used to give me the Apple gadgets because of she comes from a good family. Her name is Dineo. I think she's here as well. So
Mm-hmm.
like she used to give me this gadget, and therefore only to find out the name Mac, it just started to resonate. So by the time when I bought a MacBook laptop, that's where the Mac came. You know, everyone in the class they said, you
Yeah.
know what, your name is Mac. So if I define for you Mac, Mac is creative, Mac is a business person, Mac is global. Mac consider himself as not just a designer, he consider himself as a creative within each and every space that he's into. So that's the people he's speaking
I
about. So
love
different.
that.
So it's
Yeah.
different people. It's Mac and Kagiso at the same
And
time.
you
Yeah.
evolve as a person, I think, because you understood yourself as kahiso then
Yes.
you kind
Yes.
of evolve because your dreams become bigger and you want more than just what you were known for when you were
Yeah.
a little boy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so tell us about, I love, how did Melerine Rose became, how was she, can I call her a she? Oh,
She's
it's a
my
he.
she's my imaginary woman. So
Yes.
basically, you have the right to call her she. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How was she birthed?
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How is
You
she?
always tell
Wow.
me about this, so I want to hear it
Yeah,
all over
yeah, yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How was she birthed? It's Melerine is about two women with different types of personality, right? So the story of Melerine is it's a purpose in life to design and dress Melerine, the ability to inspire Rose. You get what I mean? That's where the rebirth came. The rebirth also came within my name, right? Kagiso and Meg. So there were two people living two different lives, right?
Mm.
And along the way, to start my career with, I started working at AFI, African Fashion International, one of the biggest brands in Africa in terms of
Sure.
facilitating fashion. So
Yeah.
after my high school, so I didn't know what to do. So I consider myself as a philanthropist before a designer, if I could tell you. I love my community a lot. So I used to organize events in my community to motivate kids and everything and stuff. And there was a time my events were not going pretty well. And I invited a friend of mine because I was in the marketing field. And I was like, how can I make this event better? So I invited a friend of mine as a designer and we collaborated together. And only to find ways, he made me to become a marketing manager for his brand. And by the time it was TDK, it was Tabo David Koketsa. Those were his names, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I need to understand this fashion. Why should I not go to school? Why should I not study anything? So I applied for AFI and I work under the line manager. Her name is Marika. She's my mentor right now. She was doing marketing
Yeah.
at AFI. So when I was in AFI, I felt the interest for fashion. That's where the global trends start to make sense. Working like curating the whole idea of David Lale, curating the whole idea of Matkosa Ladoma is in 2014 by the time. So that's where I felt
Yeah.
so much of interest with it. So along the way, I was like, you know what? I feel like I can do this. I too. You get what I mean? So when I get back to a friend of mine, we were no longer working together, and I didn't know what happened. Even right now, I'm still thinking for that. And finding myself in a space where I'm doing marketing only, I didn't know anything about machine. So clients were coming in, Mac, we want TDK, we want David Cookets and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
guys, I'm no longer working there. He's no longer answering my calls and everything and stuff. So along those ways, I was like, okay, cool. What must I do? You get what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
So I sat down and I came through inspiration. While I was working at AFI, there was a place called Alexandra Forbes in Santain. I look at that
Yes.
building. I was inspired by that building.
Yes.
And I was like, these are two names. You get what I mean? Why are they using two names? Who's
Mm.
Alexander and who's Forbes,
Who's
right?
Fox?
And
Yeah.
yeah, so along those way, and there was another designer was emerging by that time. They called Alexandra Wang, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, there's Alexandra Wang, there's Alexandra Forbes. And
Mm.
I had the privilege to work at this place while we were doing at the AFI. Most of our events were in Melrose Arch, right? So I look at Melrose Arch as well. I was like, Melrose. I mean, there's something else, yeah. So when I was young, because I was very inquisitive, like I come from a poor background, right? But the things that I want in my life, they force my parents even to think beyond that. I was one of those kids. I was like, I want Melrose. You get what I mean? I didn't know that thing is a cheese until I buy it and only to find out that is a cheese, right?
Ah,
So I was like, ah, man, I
yes.
was considering I could have just bought cheese rather than
Yeah.
finding Melrose. So
Yeah.
along the way, that's where when I was in Melrose Arch, I was like, you know what? Why can I start the brand called Melerine and Rose? Right. So I also connected the dots while I was working with a friend of mine. There were a lot of women were coming. Others were older women. Others were young women. And they were looking different style. So that's why I was like, you know what? Why can I say Melerine is an elder woman and Rose is a young girl? So it's a combination of my life and the journey that I've went through from 2014 to come up with the name. Yeah.
Mm. And I like
So
the
that's
fact
how the
that
name came.
yes, how Melerine Rose
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
actually birthed. And I like the fact that you're incorporating two women, and you always say to me that she's a young woman,
Yeah.
Rose.
I think I was at the moment I was still explaining the journey of developing
Yes.
Melerine. So here's
Yeah.
Melerine now, right?
Yes.
So
Let's see.
for
Let's talk
me,
about it.
Melerine is about two women, as I've said,
Yes.
with two different types of personalities, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Melerine is an elder woman who appreciates quality. She's a woman of distinguished charm. When she
Yes.
speaks, everyone listen. That is a woman that I'm designing for, right? So it's a woman that understands herself more than any other thing, right? She
Yeah.
understands her vision, she understands her aspirations, she understands her hopes, and also understands her wishes, right? So
True.
Rose is a young girl. So when she grows up, she wants to see herself as Melerine, right? So the
Yes.
beauty of Rose is within Melerine. So it's a freedom, ever evolving self. She's still learning. She is what she wants. She knows her hopes as well, but she's learning more into Melerine. So those are the two women with different types of personality. So in
Yeah.
Melerine, you're going to find clothes that are covered the whole body, clothes that really speaks a volume about her, right? Because she's
Yes.
more like a silhouette, strong silhouette. And a Rose,
Yeah.
that's where you're going to find slits and everything. She's still young, remember?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that's a pro. So when you come to one of my shows, you're gonna find yourself in a position whereby, as a woman, you wouldn't say that it wouldn't fit me. So I'm trying to
Yes.
speak with two different types of women, but with different attitude and aspirations. Yeah.
Yes, because you know, as an older woman, you then have a sense of young in you. You still treasure the youth within yourself. You know, they say you
Yes.
grow, you only grow older as you feel. But I like the fact that with your brand, that we start feeling young again. We
Yeah.
embrace the young, but yet at the same time, we embrace the maturity of a Melerine.
Yes.
And when you,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, and when you see that and it blends together, you
Yeah.
don't feel as if you are not part of this particular
Yeah.
circle, or this,
Yeah.
you are excluded because
Yeah.
you are accommodated. There is a bit of young and a bit of old, and you're
Yeah.
embracing that. Because I was saying to
Yeah.
somebody, I was like, I love the fact that I was 28, but
Yeah.
where I am now from a maturity point of view, I wouldn't want to be 28
Yeah.
with that. You know what I'm saying? At the same time,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are at this age, and then you feel young at the same time, and that's what I
Yeah.
feel with your brand.
Yeah.
And by the way, everybody, good morning. I see people are joining in. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
saying
I
hello,
also
saying
see my models as well. So yeah,
oh,
that day. I'm so excited. Yeah. Yeah.
lovely. Yes, it says hi,
Yeah.
Kagiso, the Stacy, the CR agency, the home of
Yeah.
creativity. This is
Yeah.
hope. I like this. You say,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
hope, buddy. Watching from
Yeah.
Tembisa now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Tembisa. And Zanelis, everybody's here. Thank
Yeah.
you guys for joining. So we're talking about Melerine Rose, and I love the fact that you are saying you're accommodating this beautiful woman who is kind of evolving at the same time. She's continuously learning, she's
Yeah.
continuously growing, but
Yeah.
she embraces the young as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what I like. And you also created some of the most beautiful garments that I used for my journey as I was with Mr. South Africa.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I could say that I resonated with what how you explained the brand, because it's not about making me, yes, I'm older, but it doesn't say I can't feel young and I can't feel
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
vibrant again, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the faces of a woman as they grow older, because you then
Yeah.
feel that your younger self, your dreams that were older, or I mean the dreams that
Yeah.
you had when you were
Yeah.
young,
Yeah.
they're no longer
Yeah.
relevant. But what I like about Melerine explanation is that as you grow older, those dreams that you had can actually ignite the best out of you as you grow
Yeah.
older. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I love that about that. And you're saying that you create, let's talk about legacy. And I love the fact
Yeah.
that you are talking about community.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
community is, it's really at the core of your heart.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
legacy. What do you want to do with Melerine, and what kind of legacy you want to leave?
I'm. I think firstly, when we talk about legacy, we need to start speaking about the foundation of a legacy, right?
Yeah.
The foundation of a legacy is truly remain with the team that I'm working with. It relates within the team that I'm working with. I'm very fortunate to have such an amazing team that I'm working with, right? One of them is my mother.
Yes.
One it's Ozzy, right? So there's
Yes.
a young man that I work with, and his name is Ozzy. The work that Ozzy puts, because I find myself in the space where I speak about legacy, but it's very
Yes.
important how do I translate that legacy to my team? You get what I mean? Because I cannot build that particular legacy without them not knowing what it's all about. So the
Sure.
main thing is to remain the leading and establishing name in the world,
Yeah.
worldwide. That's the
Yeah.
first legacy that we want to do. The second luxury is to serve luxury beauty that will attract the universe of a modern Melerine and Rose. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
That is the number one.
Mm.
Number three is to find myself in the space where we start to take economy back to where it belongs.
Mm.
You get what I mean? And I believe the economy belongs here.
Mm.
Creativity belongs here. You get what I
Mm.
mean? So
Mm.
it's one of those things that really drives me when we start speaking about legacy. Because of legacy, I don't want the legacy to be so attached to me so much, right? But I
Mm.
want the legacy to be so attached with the aspiration and the vision of the next generation. So that
Sure.
when they look at to Melerine and Rose, they said, you know what? I love when people they don't know who's the man behind the Melerine Rose. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So only to find out, like that's where I go when I speak about this vision. It's bigger than me, and the way
Yes.
it's so bigger than me, I can't do it alone. You get what I
Yes.
mean? I can't do it alone. I'm one of the person where I'm inviting people to this opportunity. It's just
Mm.
that if you don't see the opportunity, I'm sorry, I'm moving on. That's the beauty about me, right? So I'm very good. Like
Sure.
I'm going to invite you and I'm going to tell you this is what we need to do. This is what you, if you want to be part of it, because you cannot force people to be part of
Yes.
it. At the end of the
Correct.
day, it takes me as a leader to understand the vision of it. And by understanding the vision of Melerine and Rose, I believe it becomes easier for me to share that particular vision with my community. So my community has been there on my vision personally, right? It's a
Mm.
shock right now when they realize, oh my word, in the next from 2014, look at where it is right now. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? They start to understand the vision clearly, right? And what really matters to me, it is no longer about me individually, but it's
Sure.
all people want to be part of that particular vision. It's like, Meg, how can we be part? Where can we do? How can we do it? And that really excites me. The part is now when people are being part of us by joining this conversation. That's where the community that I'm speaking about, people who
Yes. Yes.
sacrifices their own time and say, you know
Time.
what, we're going to watch Meg when he's speaking with Ausin Tavi saying. And
Yeah.
those are one of the things that really inspires me. So really,
Mm.
we have establishing the journey of the vision and also the legacy. So
Yeah.
that's where I am right now. Yeah.
I love that. And you can feel the passion when you talk about the legacy. You talk about what you want to leave behind. And I'm reminded by a song, and I'm sure you know it, by Beyonce.
Yeah.
Said, "I was
Yeah.
here, I lived, I loved." That's what we want to leave at the
Yeah.
end of the day, because
Yeah.
it's bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
It's we found a world as it is, so we have to leave it a little bit better than
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had found it.
Yeah.
Our biggest struggle is where our dreams will flourish,
Ooh,
and I love the fact
I like
that
that.
you were saying you come from a background of, yes, of poverty, but it has
Yeah.
ignited you to
Yeah.
move to a stage whereby you say, I'm going to dream bigger than this. I'm going to go
Yeah.
further than this. I'm going to take this
Thank you.
brand international.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
take this brand of the whole of Africa. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's a legacy that one wants to create. And I can
Yeah.
feel it from you that definitely
Mm.
it's at the center,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
at the center, because you did explain that Meg is a philanthropist first. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
speaks into me. That's why I wanted to touch
Yeah.
between to touch in terms of who Meg is and who Melerine
Yeah.
is, because these
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
are never far from each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you
Yeah. Yeah.
create, or the dream that
Yeah.
you create, is never
Yeah.
far from you, who you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love that.
I
And
think I think
go
can I
ahead.
add something? I
Yes.
think to add on that, when you linking together, like when you linking Melerine and also when you linking Mag in between, I find myself in the space whereby Melerine has a voice. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
She has a voice and she wants to speak. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So the only way to speak is speaking through fashion. You get what I
Yes.
mean? That is a woman that I want her to speak about that. I want her to control the narrative. I want
Yes.
her to change the stigma. That is the woman
Yes.
that I'm designing for. So with
Yeah.
so much power, with so much legacy that she has within her mind, it's very important for her to express it. And I'm there to express that. And as I've said, it takes Meg as a visionary because of what really important is when this woman drives me insane.
She doesn't make you sleep.
Yo, yeah. Because like
Yeah.
she humbled me all the time because if I
Yeah.
come across with her all the time, I come across with her in a taxi. You know, when I'm come across here within a taxi, because I love, in my own space as Mac, I love traveling with a taxi rather than my personal car. Because of each and every day I come across Melerine and I come across Rose, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I come across to learn her, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And along those particular space, I find and I realize that this woman has a voice and she needs a voice. Rose needs a voice and a Melerine have a voice, you get what I mean? And if
Yeah.
those two can come together and speak, you get what I mean? So
Yes.
as one of the, like, I look at, yesterday I was having a conversation with my dad about Miriam Makeba, you get what I mean?
Yes.
The,
Yes.
the the voice that she has, that woman, and I never thought that her voice was so, because she was talking about saying they said, you know what, like we are she's speaking about cows. So
Yes.
she was addressing young men and said, young men, go back and find your parents' cows because if you
Yes.
wouldn't be able to marry.
Yes.
You get what I
If
mean?
you don't,
Look at that.
yes.
Yeah, because of you during those times, like my dad was telling me how she
Ah,
got married. So how he got married. So Papa Hai gave him cows when he go to
yes.
marry. You know what? These are your cows for you to get married. So when I look at it, I was like, oh, that's how black people were married. You get what I mean? So
Mm,
unlike now, we need to start from scratch. So that's why
yes.
Miriam Makeba said the cows are no longer there. Go
Yes.
back and ask for your
And
cows
find them.
and
Yes.
find them. You get what I mean? Because if we are
Yes.
now sitting along the corner and everything and stuff, that's why they
Yes.
say uzoyithola kanjani uhleli
Then
khoneni.
uhlale khone.
So it's it's one of those things when I look into
Yeah.
Mem Miriam Makeba, it's one
Yes.
of the women that really plays a very huge role into the voice and the vocal of a woman that I'm trying to design for. So
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate to meet other women in my life like Makofe Mwahi. She really played a very huge role. She's one of my first celebrity to work with. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And she really challenged me a lot. There was some dresses didn't like. There were dresses that she liked, and I really understand it. You know what I loved about her is she was challenging me, saying, "Meg, I know the journey that you are going. This is
Yes.
me as Meg."
Yes.
Each and every time when I used to pray during my 2015, that was bad. Like I was going through by that time because if I didn't know what to do with my life and everything, here comes something, and I said to myself, I said, God bless my success before I can handle it, because if I know that I'm already successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I don't need anyone to tell me that I'm the next billionaire or I'm
Yeah.
successful. I
Yeah.
already know. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing is me and prayer. Put that thing relative to prayer. So the
Yeah.
prayer that I'm speaking about, it's me to understand the woman that I'm designing for. And only
Yes.
to find out the woman that I'm designing for is one of the women like yourself. You get what I mean? So when I design for you and I said, you know what, I want you to be part of this design. It's not about me at the end of the day. What is your voice? What type of a
Yeah.
message you want to express,
Yeah.
so that if you give
Yeah.
me your voice, that's where I can be able to start to develop a design concept creativity in
Yeah.
between and meet your personal needs, because if your voice
Yes.
is different the way a voice I have. But I will
Yes.
also give an advice on the woman that I'm designing for, because if you have to go with the elements that I'm designing for, but at the end of the day, that is your dress.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I love that because and you feel it every time. I think at okay, just a quick note. Everybody's laughing at our jokes and loving our jokes. And
Yeah, yeah,
Kansani is also saying, God bless my success." Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's so true.
yeah.
Yeah, because I agree with that because we are already blessed and we are already anointed to
Yeah,
walk through our journeys of success. So all we have to
yeah,
do is to put in the work, and then it creates a testimony already that I already
yeah,
believe it inside of me.
yeah,
Then
yeah,
the work that I put in is just
yeah.
a way to show that basically I have it. I have it. It's they call it faith, and and that's what I like about every time I interact with you. That's what I remember all the time.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
it's a journey of faith. It's a journey of pushing
Yeah.
through. It's a journey of keep
Yeah.
trying. It's a journey of
Yeah.
I keep learning. It's a journey of
Yeah.
understanding who you are and what do you
Yeah.
serve at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I can
Yeah.
attest to the fact that when I first met you, and you were designing for me, and you really wanted to sit with me. You actually sat with me and understood who I am, and then you design it
Mm.
according to who I am. You know
Yeah.
who I aspire
Yeah.
to be, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was really honored in terms of that because I
Yeah.
could it kind of rang a bell in me that being true to myself. And it's great that somebody else seeing it from an out from a
Yeah.
distance like yourself, or maybe sitting
Yeah.
across the
Yeah.
table, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and and you bring in that woman who is young inside of you, that woman who is older, and bringing them
Yeah.
into being merged, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I really honor
Yeah.
that because it's
Yeah.
you know you what I love about you is that you make your clients feel like they are queens no matter what. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that they can dream bigger, that they can become more than what they thought they would be, that things are
Yeah.
greater for them. So it's
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
this is just my feedback that when one comes to you, it's not an issue of I just want a dress, but I
Yeah.
come and sit down with you as Melerine Rose, and what you see
Mm.
the current, but yet the dreams and the aspiration and the
Yeah.
beauty and the
Yeah.
strength and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
maturity and
Yeah.
the destiny, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I like about you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank you for always. I think it's also about honoring your gifts, and you
Yeah.
honoring that
Yeah.
gift, and you are building it around what you're building your success around your gifts, and I
Yes.
love that
Yes.
about you.
Yes.
You get
Yes.
what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I do. I do.
And I wanted to ask you, I know this year has been quite tough. It's been very hectic, especially for designers, creatives alike. We've
Yeah.
seen our talents, our gifts, basically being uh, instead of being because we ignite our talents and our gifts when
Yeah.
there's movement, but with coronavirus the problem is there was no movement.
Yeah.
You couldn't do
Yeah.
much, you know.
Yeah.
How has it been for you, and what kept you moving? I think he's having a connection. Are you okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
There
okay,
was a
okay.
little bit of
Yeah.
disturbance just right there, but yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me as well?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. Do you
Okay.
want me to repeat the question?
Yes, I think you can to
Okay.
get it clearly. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to, because coronavirus has kind of stopped our movement, and as
Yeah.
creators, how has it been for you, and what kept you moving, and what motivated you to still be standing today?
I feel I feel it's a space of individualism. It's a space of individualism. It's a space of because what I've taken into consideration, the world was running too fast. We were losing
Yeah.
ourselves. We're trying to catch up with something that we don't know. That's the thing
Yeah.
about it. We're trying to catch up with something we don't know. So now it's a matter of we have been there. So what are we going to become? So it's a
Mm.
space where it allows me to more rethink and reshape more Melerine actually
Yes.
what are her aspiration as well, because I think this is a journey that reminds me of my mentor Marika said to me when I started in 2015. She said to me, said, you know what, Meg, you always need to think, where Melerine is she sitting? What is she doing in
Yes.
Sunday? What is her
Yes.
vibe? You get what I mean? So along those ways during the COVID-19, it's one of the questions of asking myself, where is she now? What's happening with
Yes.
her?
Yeah.
What type of a person what type of a book is she reading? You get what I mean? So
Yes.
I allowed that particular space for me to propel my creativity at the same time.
Yes.
And also it was one of the space that I utilized for myself to say, you know what? Um I start drawing and I start putting more much of a drawing because my emotion, I love to express my emotions on an A4 when I'm having a pen or a pencil.
Yes.
That's where I'm
Yeah.
expressing my emotions, all of it. So it all started that way. I see the comments, sorry, social or political
Yes.
cause. So like politics, guys, it's me as well. Like so
Yeah.
because remember, as I've said, that Melerine is a woman who has a voice. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So it's us to design for that particular voice, and you find that that voice is not far ahead from politics, and it's not far ahead
It's
from
not.
philanthropist as Mac. You get what I mean? So
Yes.
anyway, going back to you, and with that COVID-19, I mean, financially, yes, it has really made a very huge impact. But I was very fortunate myself. I was very fortunate in a space whereby I'm still working at home. So my
Yes.
costs are not that much. So I didn't spend so much time on the finance issue and everything. I was finding a way of how am I moving out? What is my next step? So
Yes. Yeah.
COVID-19 assisted me to sit down and understand my own step because of,
Yes.
and it's something that I've been trying to work on from last year. Like last year, like my entire last year, I felt like something like this is gonna come because of my entire
Yeah.
last year was what is sustainability? And I also asked my mentor, my other mentor, his name is Mr. Franz Murray. So I asked my mentor and I said, mentor, he's within the architect sphere. And I said, what is the sustainability and what is the vision? And I love how he told me about sustainability. He said sustainability is the same thing as a solar panel. You get what I mean? So you put a solar panel on the roof, it generates electricity without you taking part all the time. The only thing that you need to do,
Ah.
so within that was where the mind came in. I was like, what is the sustainability for Melerine? How can I sustain it, right? So I managed to come up with ideas of how am I going to move Melerine and Rose, because if I believe Melerine is not going to be just a brand for fashion. There's a
Yes.
lot of initiatives that are coming in between, and some of them could have been established this year, but because
Yes.
of the COVID-19 and the financial aspect and the aspiration, you cannot put people into the aspiration of Melerine and Rose while Melerine is going through personal issues, right? The death
Yes.
and everything stuff. So that's where I find myself into. So with the COVID-19, to close it, is I've been preparing for it. And luckily, I've managed to learn for COVID-19. I don't know whether it's our first disease will never come again or whatsoever, but I've learned within that particular space. So I took that as an opportunity to say, you know what, let me use this lockdown to develop myself. Yeah.
Yes. And I think, and I could attest to that. We were faced with, as businesses and individuals or whatever, or the world in general, we were faced with the fact that we needed to reboot ourselves. We needed to re-strategize in terms of where we want to go.
Yeah.
Whether this thing was man-made or not, I think
Yeah.
God used it for the better of our good. You get what I'm saying? To a point where we
Yes.
can sit down and redirect or even reshape our dreams. And I
Yeah.
like the fact that you're saying that you sat down and looked at this woman all over again and revisited
Yeah.
her and say, what is she
Yeah.
doing at this particular moment? What is she thinking
Mm-hmm.
about, you know?
Mm.
And you started having, you had more conversations with her because now she is in lockdown. Now she has nowhere
Yeah.
else to be busy with. She is sitting and watching
Yeah.
TV or making cookies or whatever, but she's home.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
nowhere to, she's not busy
Yeah.
trying to do
Yeah.
boardroom stuff. She's not busy
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
run errands.
Yeah.
She is
Yeah.
now, because the
Yeah.
woman then probably also face
Yeah.
herself and saying,
Mm.
I'm Melerine Rose, so but who
Mm.
is me deeply, you know? Um,
Mm.
um, I like that, and that's what
Yeah.
we were faced, and I like that the
Yeah.
fact that every business needed to rethink themselves in terms of, you know,
Yeah.
how do they want to structure themselves going forward. You know, do I still
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
to create the legacies that I want to create? And I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
I want to read this comment by Trace Hugo, and
Yeah.
he's basically saying, Mac, you already know how much I love your work, but what
Yeah.
I want to know is, does
Yeah.
Melerine Rose advocate for some social or political cause? And if it does, what is it? I know you kind of
Um.
touched a little bit about it, that she has a voice, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so
And
definitely she's
yeah.
not far away from politics. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think Trace asked a very, 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 very important question, and which truly it resonates with us. And also to go back with you with the COVID right now, the space that Melerine she finding herself now, it's this. Get this phrase. Imagine yourself out of yourself. Who are you?
Yes.
Right? So that is a woman right now asking herself that, imagining herself out of Melerine, who she is. She's
Yeah.
in the voice sphere. She understands her voice. You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
with that particular voice, it's more relative to social issues that we come across with. But because this woman depend on my propel, you get what I
Yes.
mean? I feel there's still other projects that are coming in between to start being able to say the message the way it is. Because right now, the woman that I'm speaking about is still on the paper, right? But
Yes.
what I like about her is she executed that in 2017, actually 2018, when we organized an event we called um, water lily. We were inspired by water lily, the
Yes.
flower called water lily. So the last images that we have on Instagram, and Kim was the one. There was a woman that was propelling it. She's here
Okay.
right now. She's one of my models.
Hi, Kim.
So yeah,
Yes.
so it was one of the things that she was trying to tell a message of, guys. I believe a lot of men appreciate women when they have grown up rather than the experiences that they come across with, right? So the flower, it's born in Sri Lanka. So the flower grows under the water, right?
The
It's
water
called
lily.
water
Yeah.
lily. Yes, the water lily. So afterwards, it blossoms on the surface. But I've realized there's a lot of people pay attention on the blossoming of it, but they don't pay attention on the growth of it, right? So
Yes.
with that particular conversation, it allows us to create a conversation. It allows us to create a dialogue. And at the end of the day, it's not about blame game, but it's to find the issues. Why are they appreciating the flower that is already blossomed rather than the flower that is growing? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if the flower that is growing really needs support, there's a lot of young girls that really need support in everything that I do. You get what I mean? And with that particular message, we're being able to understand who she is and what she wants to become. We'll be
Yeah.
able to speak about her dreams, her aspirations through that particular flower. Those are the things that we're trying to highlight. And we are very fortunate to have Makofe Moahi. Because of Makofe, she came there and she propelled that particular thing. She was our Melerine, you get what I mean? So all my roses had the privilege to engage with her. They had the privilege to speak with her. So that's why at the end of the day, I said, you know what, let me find Melerine and also let me find roses and being able to speak. So that conversation of a water lily gave them an opportunity to speak. So those are one of the social issues that we are coming across with. And there's still more. It's just that I can't reveal. There's
Yeah,
still
sure.
more issues that I'm going to speak about. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And we we I'm one person. I like disconnecting myself from politics, but then I am disconnecting myself from a voice
Yeah.
that I have,
Yeah. Yeah.
because politics affects us. The fact that we are part of the community, it affects
Yeah.
us. You know,
Yeah.
at work it
Yeah.
affects us. Right
Yeah.
now, politics affects us. The fact that the world is actually being driven the way it is. It
Yeah.
has affected. It
Yeah.
affects us,
Yeah.
and because we want to make it better, we have
Yeah.
to speak.
Yeah.
So Melerine
Yeah.
Rose has a voice. Melerine
Yeah.
Rose wants to make an impact in the
Yeah.
world, and you
Yeah.
can't make an impact by only, there
Yeah.
are different ways to show to use your voice.
Yeah.
Voice
Yeah.
by writing, voice by doing design, voice by
Yeah.
speaking,
Yeah.
voice by,
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
creating art or whatever it is, but it's a
Yeah.
voice,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's part
Yeah.
of it. It's politics. And I love the fact that you kind of when I speak to you about politics, it's more of you kind of shape me in such a way that you say embrace the politics and embrace your
Yeah,
thoughts. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I see Katlego saying, imagine yourself outside of yourself. Power. That is so true. And then
That is so true.
Katlego is
Yeah.
also saying, yes. And he's also saying, oh, the beauty of appreciating progress. Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that
And
too.
yes, exactly. So what's next for Melerine Rose?
Woo!
I know we have a
What's
big project,
ah
but what's next?
guys to be on I don't know where to start, and I always emphasize this. I'm
Yes.
working with such an amazing and incredible team.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's overwhelming. I,
Yeah.
I feel like I can invite people to come
And see
and
the
see what's next for Melerine and Rose. You get what I
yeah.
mean? I
Yeah.
so wish them to come and see what's next, because we have a project in next year October. You get what I mean? That it's already on the line. Right,
Yes.
we've been speaking with one of our friends. It's in we just found her on Instagram. Her name is Wilva. We're trying to work on something with her. She's based in Cape Town, right? So we're going to create something meant for Rose. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's a lot of projects. Again, I have another project that is coming in 2022 in, I think, roughly March,
Yeah.
2022 in March, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of them. So I'm just want to leave them and speak about what's next now.
Yes.
So what's next now is the Paris Fashion Week.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Paris Fashion Week. It's a deep breath. Remember through my prayer, as I've told you, I said, God bless my success before I can handle it.
Yes.
I think this is the one of the success that I was speaking about,
Yeah.
and not aware that that particular success can
It's
start
gonna
there.
come. Yeah.
You get what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's funny enough that this success is starting in Paris. That's
Yeah.
why I'm gonna start launching my second haute couture collection in Paris.
Yes.
That's one of the things that really, even right now, I still can't believe it. I've been talking with the team. One of my production manager in Paris. Her name is Sandra. We've been talking about this, and I've been talking to her, and I was like, "Why did you selected me? Why
Yeah.
me? Why me?" Because it,
Yeah.
it, it doesn't really make sense, but it always brings me back to a conversation myself with God. You know what I mean? I'll
Yes.
be like,
Yeah.
"Okay, so why you keep on questioning, yet at the end of the day, this is something that you ask for. So we
Yeah.
should be careful on what we wish." You get what I mean? So
And you know
that's
what?
me.
There's actually nothing wrong with that. If you're talking God and you're talking from a biblical point of view, Moses asked the same question. And he said, no, but I
Yeah.
stutter. Why do you want me to go and release the Israels from Egyptians? Because, as in a human form, we already are doubting ourselves. We're thinking, no, this task is way too bigger than me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when God blesses you, he doesn't care how you care.
Yeah.
How do you think about yourself
Yeah.
at that current status?
Yeah.
He thinks about the
Yeah.
duty and the capability
Yeah.
and your heart.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
But anyways,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Moses is one of the people that I look up to. Like the first time when I started reading the Bible, I started looking at him. Like it was one of my aspiration in each and everything, because there was a time where Moses also questioned the idea of saying, God, I want to see you as well. Where are you? And God
Yeah,
said to him and
sure.
said, you wouldn't be able to see me, but if you can stand behind the rock, you will feel my presence, right? So at this moment
Ah,
of time, I'm here feeling his presence. Like
yeah.
I'm feeling his presence over me now.
Yes.
So the presence also came to this idea of saying, what is your collection? What are you going to speak about when you go to France?
Yeah.
And the idea was the thing that Trace
Dumelang,
was
hi.
asking, the same thing that Trace was asking, right?
Yes.
I'm going to speak about this. It's a woman that's going to change the narrative of how people view Africa in a form
Yes.
of luxury, in a form of storytelling and everything and stuff. And we're very fortunate with my team right now because we're shooting a documentary of
Sure.
Melerine going to Paris. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we believe that story is going to be a storytelling in the next. So to send the message to Trace, it's the message that we're trying to send to Paris is the deepest, darkest tears of Atlantic Ocean. It's more relative to politics. It's more relative to ownership. It's more
Yes.
relative to legacy. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So that is
Yes.
the type of a message we send into Paris. So, I mean, we're designing for women that going back to Paris and claiming what has been taken away from her, as we know with the issues of slavery that really happened by that time and everything. So most of my clothes have been inspired by the color black, have been inspired by the color red, and also they've been inspired by the color blue. You get what I mean? The
Yes.
royal blue. So I'm
Yes.
trying to speak about the vastness of the ocean, and I'm also trying to speak about the golden triangle. I'm trying to speak about women like Sarah Barthman. You get what I mean?
Yes.
I'm trying to
Yes.
speak about souls that jump within the ocean, because of
Yeah.
people that don't take it into consideration. When we celebrate the history of black people, we only celebrate about the soil, the things
Sure.
that happen in Alabama, the things that happen with the Atlotaga sheep and everything, the last sheep that. So one of those things are one of the things that really inspires me to speak about. But
Sure.
right now, I'm trying to speak about the ocean and what the ocean
Yes.
stands for. My mom used to tell me that in the ocean there's voices, and I didn't take it into
Ah.
consideration until
Yeah.
last year when my mentor helped me to go to what you call to go to Cape Town. And one of
Yeah.
my friends also, like my business partner, his name is Sofa, to gave me the privilege to go to Durban. So through
Yeah.
that, I came across that particular voices in the ocean. And I was like, why can I come up with something? So the dresses that I'm speaking about, they're trying to speak about the voice of politics within the deepest, darkest tiers of Atlantic Ocean. That is a woman that we're designing for. That is a woman who's going to send that particular narrative and a message and a statement.
And Paris becoming.
And Paris, yeah, we're ready for it, and we're ready for it because, and the other thing is like I'm very fortunate. I don't want to lie. Like I'm very fortunate, and I say, God, thank you so much for
Yes.
giving me the opportunity to realize my gifts and my talent. Because if I believe gift and talent are not the same as knowledge and wisdom, they're not the same. I'm in the
Yes.
space where I'm learning about those two, and the friends that I have really played a very huge role. When you say we go into Paris, because of they've donated me a lot of money, where
Yes.
it allowed me to start working on the campaign. You get what I mean? And
Yes.
we
Yeah.
started designing, developing the campaign,
Yes.
because of the money really helped me to pay electricity within the studio due to
Yes.
COVID-19 as well. I've managed to pay for the studio, and I'm also managed to pay for my employees for traveling expenses and
Yes.
so forth. So it really played a very huge role. Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, it is possible. I think anything is possible. And like you said, you can't achieve this big dream only by
Yeah.
yourself. And I see a lot
Yeah.
of people sending a lot of love notes there. And
Yeah.
I see Tata was saying, so proud of you, Mac.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Dumelang from Innocentia, Bonolo is
Yeah.
saying, I love that. I love that. I love this your story, my brother. Hashtag
Yeah.
Black Hustle.
Yeah.
And Innocentia is saying, let's go to Paris. And that's the attitude. I mean, at the current
Yeah.
moment, I know you're looking for donations, more
Yeah.
donations
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for us to take Melerine Rose to tell her history, to
Yeah.
tell her tears in her
Yeah.
tears that all fell within the ocean, to tell
Yeah.
her breath, to tell her
Yeah.
voice that is flowing
Yeah.
with the waves of the ocean, to tell
Mm.
who had who what she has been through, the
Yeah.
stripes, the pain.
Mm.
Has made her beautiful, and that's what you want to
Mm.
showcase into Paris.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and everybody's support will be appreciated. That donations can be uh, can you still accepting donations for Paris? Am I
Yes, we
correct?
still.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And how can everybody go about it? Maybe a snapshot of how we can.
Um, I think the information it's within my personal media space and within Melerine media space. So
Yes.
like you can go to Melerine Rose Instagram. The first picture that you're gonna see, it's a poster that
Yes.
really emphasize what is the inspiration, what is the role of this thing, where
Yes.
you can donate. The account number is there, and the account number is there. My contact details are there as well. So if you go to Melerine Rose page, you're going to find it on Instagram. And if you go to Melerine Rose Facebook, you're going to find all the updates. Which dress are we in right now? How far are we with the process? Where can you donate as well? So we're trying to engage much with our audience because we believe that on our Instagram, that's where we're only engaging with images, right? So it's like a direct message. But when we go to Facebook, that's a conversation. So you can get the information both, and also you can go through my personal Eskagiso Mashilo on Facebook, and on my Instagram it's Meg Mashilo. So that's where you can really find the whole information. Yeah.
And we're also encouraging brands to work with yourself on the process, not just only individual donations, but it's also brands want to work with this process for going into Paris and also coming back, because you also, ideally it's about relationships. It's not about one of those things, one hit wonder situation, but it's an issue of a relationship. How do you want to grow with this brand? How do you want to grow with Melerine Rose? Seeing her mature, seeing her build up. As you said, there's a number of projects, but at the same time, it's also about building that legacy. It's also about building, embracing the woman, the young lady who is becoming this matured woman. So yes, we are appealing to everybody who can support, to kindly support in terms of donations, or brands that wants to work with you in terms of the journey, to come forth, and they can actually contact yourself with regards to building, being involved in the Paris journey. Am I correct?
Yeah. No, you're correct. You're correct.
Thank you. But thank you, Meg, for really availing yourself. I think this one, I think everybody has. I like the fact that a lot of people actually feel the same energy that I always felt when I talk to you. So I'm not alone in this. Like, I'm not crazy all by myself, So, but let's Trace is saying, Trace Hugo is saying, Meg, can you please touch on the value of humanity and humility with the people we work with? I am asking this because I know you and I both have experienced gruesome treatment from people we once worked for.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can understand.
I can relate. I can relate. My answer to Trace is, we start as fools and we learn through process. That would be my advice to her. You get what I mean? The woman that I'm speaking about, again, if you look at Connie Ferguson, you get what I mean? No one could ever thought we could be now seeing the leading television production company in South Africa by the Ferguson Films, right? Yes. So those are one of the things that she started as a fool, and look at where she is right now, right? Yes. So sometimes it's, especially when it comes to authority, other people have fear of what we can do to their brands. You get what I mean? Other people have fear of giving us such hope. I think he's right, because the faith that I've given to my creative director, Osborne, is the idea of saying, understand who I am and what I want and what I want to become. You get what I mean? So the conversation started right there. You get what I mean? I remember when I hired him, I couldn't believe that he can execute so much, but I really had faith on him because he was on a space of losing his creativity. And I was the only person that can be there to say, you know what, these are the resources that you can do. So I believe in collaboration, and I believe in me understanding the vision. Some of the people that we might be speaking about, I understand they understand their vision, but they don't understand the importance of the teamwork. People are more of themselves more than what they can become. Because of my dad always tell me this, I don't know how you can say it. Like, a king doesn't embrace himself, but the community is the one that embraces him. So at this moment of time,
the king is never a king without the community at the end of the day.
Thank you, right? So
Yeah.
I believe in Trace that there's a lot of things that he has learned from there, and that it was his right time for him to learn about that, so that he
Yes.
doesn't repeat the same mistakes that he have learned. That's why I
Yeah.
have learned that from others, and this is who I am right now. So I'm coming with the full package of it. So it's a matter of an idea of Meg, I mean, you're just an imaging designer. How come you're going to Paris? I've been on
Yes.
this game for so long. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've been on
Yes.
this game for so long, but I've been in lower carpets. Most people,
Yes.
they were not aware that Meg can go to Paris, right? So it's one of
Yes.
those things that right now I'll be like, oh my God, I've engaged and I've seen and I've learned, as you have said with the song of Beyonce. And this is where I am with the legacy that I want to build.
I love
Yeah.
that. I really love that. And let us continue doing that. Let us build, let us continue. It's not really